Well, that was amazing.
What if I told you you could play Hunt Showdown on the highest settings without dropping $1,000 on a gaming PC? And no, you don't need a Steam Deck or a new mark on your lengthy criminal record. If you have been paying attention to current gaming trends, then you probably already know what I'm talking about: gaming on the cloud. Specifically, for the purposes of this video, Geforce Now. Geforce Now is NVIDIA's cloud gaming service that enables you to stream your Steam library to your browser or their app. There are 3 membership tiers, including a free tier, but it is worth noting that there is not a guaranteed level of performance on that free tier, and play sessions are limited to 1 hour, which means at the end of the hour, you'll have to go all the way out and relaunch. A few disclaimers here. 1, this video is not sponsored by NVIDIA in any way. And 2, these tests were done over Ethernet on my local network, which is pretty good, so using Wi-Fi on a hotspot out in the sticks might not give you the same level of results. Okay, so I took a poll recently asking console players if they would try Hunt Showdown on PC if they had a computer that could run it. To my surprise, of the roughly 1,200 console responders at the time of writing this video, around 75% of you said you would. If you have a somewhat capable computer, like a recent Chromebook and a decent internet connection, this might be an option for you. So quickly, how does the service work? Once you have created an account, you visit the Download tab. You can play games using your browser or downloading their app. For me personally, I downloaded the app to have access to the full range of features like this handy network tester. After that, you find the game you want to play, sign into Steam, and an instance of your game is being played somewhere else and streamed to your computer. It is important to note you do need to own a license to the game that you want to play, which means for many of you, this list of free-to-play games might be your best bet if you don't have a pre-existing Steam library. But if you are curious about Hunt, you can usually find it on sale or get a discount using a creator code in the Crytek store. I'm sorry, I don't have one to offer you, but maybe one day. Once you are signed in and have a copy of the game on your account, that's it. You are ready to rule the bayou, well, kind of. Players on the free tier don't get priority access to the service, but even during busy periods like 4 p.m., I didn't find the wait too excruciating, and it doesn't actually have to hit 0. But once you are in, then you are ready to play. So, how is that free tier performance anyway? To be honest, the results are pretty mixed. Usually when I first started, it would have a weird mix of choppy performance and floaty controls that would last a few minutes and then it would level out. To be fair, it had all the same level of functionality as the paid tiers, which is pretty cool for a free service. Can you play the game? Sure. For the most part, it felt like normal Hunt Showdown, but you will almost certainly notice the pixelated video quality and a level of softness to the image. As you might expect, it felt pretty similar to watching a YouTube video on the 720p setting, and honestly, the 480p setting at some points. In my first fight with the Butcher, there was a hidden layer of latency that left me burning every time I charged in for some melee, and gunfights are no different. I am very accustomed to the slow muzzle velocity of the Martini, but on this free tier, I did not feel very confident in my ability to 1. Distinguish targets from foliage, and 2. Land shots on this single shot weapon. At this point, I know you're thinking, Home, you are just blaming the lag for being bad, and to an extent, yes, that's true, but I think it is something you need to experience to really understand how the latency feels. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely get kills, but the low video quality is somewhat of an obstacle at medium range. For you console players on the original Xbox and PlayStation, you might actually fare okay here. The worst video performance wasn't that far from the video of those early consoles, and I'm not saying that as a slight. I am someone who has gone back to the console version before the FPS cap was raised to 60, and I can tell you it feels pretty similar. So for anyone looking for a mostly free bout of PC Hunt Showdown, I would say the free tier is actually good enough to give you an impression if it's for you or not, as long as you keep in mind that the native resolution and input latency would be much better on hardware running locally. Okay, and if that was the end of the experience, I could cut the video here. But thanks to the supporters over on my Patreon, these videos can actually have a budget. So I went for the RTX 380 option like a high roller to thoroughly test this service out. I know, YouTube people have a tendency to use hyperbole when giving impressions about loadouts and whatever, but the difference between this paid tier and the free one is night and day, which at that $20 price point, it should be. After limping through a match while I was readjusting my control settings, oh yeah, you have to do that if you don't mark to save your settings, I was ready to try this out. It is so strange because you know the video game is being streamed to your computer, but you can feel the improvement in FPS performance over the free tier. The movement felt smoother, the controls much snappier, and there was way less floating going on. These are all my tech insider terms. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though. Streaming gameplay can only take you so far, and the compression of the stream can make it difficult to distinguish targets at a distance or in foliage. But I got into a few gunfights, and hopefully you can see the new level of confidence in some of these shots. On the free tier, I felt like there was an element of guesswork, but on the RTX tier with max settings and 120 FPS, there were some periods where I would forget I wasn't running it natively. Now that sounds like a glowing review, but again, this isn't sponsored, and again, this is with the understanding that you won't have the same level of sharpness in cloud gaming. I think you will need to weigh a few things for yourself before you drop 20 bucks on this product. One, you should check out what hardware you have. If you're going to play this on a laptop, does the laptop have a refresh rate and resolution to justify the highest tier? My monitor has a 1440p 144Hz screen, so I can see the difference, but if you are using some old IdeaPad from high school or something, maybe try the free tier first, and then upgrade to the middle premium tier, which offers 1080p 60 FPS gaming. You'll also want to evaluate how good is your internet. I am hardwired to my modem, so my latency is pretty low, but over Wi-Fi it might be a different experience. Anyway, wrapping things up, this was an interesting little experiment, and I might revisit it again in the future. But I would love to know your thoughts and experiences on this topic. Have you tried cloud gaming? Are you playing Hunt on Geforce Now? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and go check out that old Patreon. That link is in the description. But until the next one, goodbye.